stands for. And what we're going to do is we're going to convert the Festo line, which is running RS Logic, is running a Allen Bradley 1500 PLC programs with RS Logic 500, which is what y'all are familiar with. And we're going to convert it over to Siemens PLCs, the 1200s, which are these little guys right here. And we don't have enough ports on here, so we're going to add another port, or we're going to add a module on the side of it. And we're going to take the programs that were written for, so you're not going to have to write the programs to run the line. What we're going to do is we're going to take the programs that's already written, and we're going to adapt them to Siemens. So, no, you are not going to. You're going to type everything in. You cannot copy it. Right. Well, yes, but you got to do it according to the syntax that Siemens uses, and not the syntax that the 500 uses. So Siemens PLC, the S7, it's just like RS Logic 5000, is a tagged-based operating system. It does not use, it has a project tree, but it does not dedicate data files. So there's no such thing as a T4 data file, a C5 data file. Memory is allocated when you put something in there. So the new PLCs utilize the memory so much better. So RS Logic 500, you have a C5 file that's 256 times 3 bytes of memory that's dedicated to counters, whether you use any counters or not. Timers use four words of memory, so that would be 4 words, of course. You know, that would be 16 bytes of memory if you don't use any timers. So the problem is that you dedicate this memory to these data files, whether you use them or whether you don't. Okay. So floating point, integers. How many programs have to really do math? How many control programs do math? Very few of them, right? You can understand why they would do it, but that Festo line there's no math instructions out there, but yet they dedicate all that memory for integer files. So an integer file is 2 bytes of memory, 256 times 2 bytes of memory, even if you don't do what? You have no integers in there. You don't. But your new PLCs, they delegate the memory when you set up something. So it's a lot more efficient too in the way that. Right. That's not used. Of course, it's kind of like my neighbor. His wife likes to buy silverware and chinaware. He's got 2 sheds in his backyard that's got nothing but dishes in it. He don't cook, and they eat out a lot. That's what's so funny. But I'm glad he don't have this, so I can listen. So they got all that stuff dedicated out there in his shed, and they don't use it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Of course, his house is close to mine. I don't want to, but he's a good guy. So this is the Blackboard site that y'all probably had introduced to starting in the start of the fall. So everybody's okay with these, right? Okay. So of course and it's we tried to set ours up basically like the old Blackboard was, so it should be easy for y'all to adapt. One thing that we do like is all that lost and state stuff is not here. So you get another link on a user where you can go and get all the lost and state stuff. So it's a lot cleaner. It's a little harder for us to set up. So the first week we'll go over of course this is going to be texting application. I'm not going to set up the texting application. You wouldn't believe how much time it does that when it's so easy for you to do it. So if you want to receive text about this class, then you're going to have to join the testing application yourself. And it's really easy. I'm going to send emails no matter what. But if you want to get text about this class, then you're going to have to sign up for it. You'll probably have to do this. So I can't write this up there, but it's what you're going to do is you're just going to text at BE, and if you don't remember this, 498 lowercase g, and then you're just going to text this to 810-10. So it's real easy for you to join, and you just text that number to that, and you'll be signed up for the texting application for this class. And in that way, when I post things, I'll remind y'all when things are due. I might send you a text saying check your email if the text is going to be too long. When I send you a text as a class, it's kind of like Twitter where you're limited to 140 characters. Yeah, so it only limits to that. So sometimes if I got to send you something, I'll tell you to, check your email. Syllabus in brief. We'll come back to this in a minute. I give you a copy of the brief, right? It just contains the information that you need to know without printing off this big old long syllabus. This class doesn't have a book, so this class doesn't have a book. About the only material you're required, what does it say on there? Everybody's required to have safety glasses, right? Yeah. And you can't, I know it's going to get warm, but we're not going to wear short pants or open-toe shoes in here, right? You understand that? Electrical insulated gloves, we don't have to have those like we do in motor controls because we're only going to be dealing with 24 volts DC in this class. So, these are some agreements. So syllabus agreement, dress code agreement, smoking on campus, and then the non-discrimination agreements. You'll have to go back and say you're going to adhere to those. And then, of course, you have to take a quiz on the syllabus, right? And when's that due? Yeah, Friday. What'd you say? No, Friday. First Friday of the term. Full week of the term, and this is a full week term. Plus, because the semester actually started, the mini term actually started on Thursday. But since this is a Monday, Wednesday class, then y'all got a break or reprieve. Let's see. I'm gonna close these policies up so y'all can see that. Then the course content. I need that. Y'all can't see that. Reference material, this is where the dictionary will be on there, but this is also the numbering systems, ISO symbols that we'll have to understand when we wire this thing up. These are the PLC manuals, so this is where we can go and try to match instructions that are in the Siemens software to instructions that are in Allen-Bradley software. So some of the instructions, they do the same thing, but they're titled a little different. So we have to go out there. So we have the, these are free to download, guys. So most of these major PLC manufacturers provide all their documentation free to you. You can download this stuff. And why would they do that? Well, so you can do it, but if you can read the characteristics of a PLC without buying it, then you have a better chance of what? Of buying it. So they make these all free. So here's Allen-Bradley, and this even has RS Logic 5000, even though we don't teach that yet. We're going to start teaching it probably next year, but we don't have enough PLCs that's compatible with it right now. 1500. So this is the PLCs that's actually on the line right now. And then on the Siemens, these are all these are for the 1200 series of PLCs. We do have the 300 series because that's what's on the Amatro line back there. But we'll be dealing with the 1200 PLCs. There's not one on the brief? Really? Okay, I'll take that off. Don't worry about it. I'll make it. I'm not going to take it off. I'll just make it worth 0 points. That won't hurt. Yeah, 0 points. I can make it. Once somebody starts one of these tests, we cannot delete any question on the test. We can edit it and regrade it, but we can't delete it like the old one. So what we do is we have a problem with a question, I just make it worth 0 points. So if you've already started, you messed this up, so I can't do anything about it. These are the actual programs. So these are the Festo programs right here. So this is what we're going to be adapting over to S7. And most of the commands we've already used. We just have to figure out how Siemens does it. They don't address the same way like Allen Bradley does. Allen Bradley, you only got 2 options. You can address a bit or you can address words. Most of your newer PLCs give you the ability to break the data down a little more so you can manage it. Siemens addresses in bits, it addresses in bytes, it addresses in words, it addresses in double words. So you know those terms, right? One individual bit, yeah. So that's mostly in, except when you got into your timers and your counters, that's what y'all did. Y'all did bit addressing, and that's what the slash meant, right? So in Allen Bradley, we use a slash to designate a bit, and we do use a dot to designate. Yeah, a dot designates a word. Well, Siemens does it different. If a bit is understood, right, and then if we know it's going to be different. So if we want to deal with a word, we use a W in the command. If we want to deal with a byte, we use a what? B. If we want to use a double word, we use a D as part of the actual instruction. So we can address, it's a lot more flexible, and which makes it, makes managing memory a lot more, makes it a lot easier, not easier, it just makes it more efficient, right? You understand? So Allen Bradley, you got 2 options. You're either what? Bits or words, which is 2 bytes of memory per word, right? So, so we'll have fun with that. So latch and unlatch, hopefully y'all did that. You can see this uses a lot of latch and unlatch. And let's go back up to the top. JSR, we're going to learn a little bit about subroutines, not as much as you do in, and subroutines is pretty easy. We did talk about that in Intro to PLCs, right? Subroutines. And what do we normally use subroutines for? To break a big program up into little modules to make the program itself more manageable, right? You understand that? So instead of me trying to find stuff, like that robot back there, the programs that run that robot is huge. But what they've done is they've done what? They've broken that program into what? Subroutines. And each subroutine does a task. And what we can do is we can run the individual subroutines. And James can tell you a little bit. We're over here. We had a problem with the robot. It collided. We couldn't get it uncollided, and so we messed up the encoders. So we had to remaster the robot. and now it's not hitting the points right. So we're having to reteach all the points, and there's good gracious, I don't know how many points is available. Yeah, but we're going back the wrong way. So subroutines. So you can see normally what we do on big programs, we'll have one main program, and basically it just dedicates and runs what subroutines. Uh, then notice this subroutine, a condition has to be met. So we call these conditional subroutines. So this subroutine will only run if one of these conditions is met. This is what we call an unconditional subroutine, because notice there's nothing on the L1 side. So every time it hits this rung, it's going to run what? It's going to run that subroutine. So subroutines can be conditional or unconditional. So this one would only run if switch 2 does something, right? And then we get into bit files. These are all your memory coils, right? So these are the ones that don't need outputs. We're going to have to learn about this command. This is one-shot rising. We'll have to look at that, which we didn't get to, but it's an easy instruction to understand. And then, of course, the last instruction. So I'm in a subroutine. No, let's see, I'm in a subroutine yet. Yeah, this is auto. So this is the long one, guys. This is like 48 rungs. And the last instruction is a what? Return. Yeah. And so what it would do is that would cause it to go back to the next rung after the rung that called it. So we have 5 main programs. Go ahead. Yeah, we call them nested subroutines. Subroutines will always go back. The return will always send it back to the subroutine that calls it. It'd be like, yeah, it always come back the way it comes up. A subroutine calls a subroutine. We call that nested subroutine. Well, a macro is a sub. Basically, most macros are part or a subroutine. Unless your macro calls another macro, and then this one would bring it back into these. So a lot of robotics call it macros. So PLC still call them subroutines. So that's a good point. We're going to have to learn about the fill. We'll learn about that command. One-shot rising we've already looked at. Fill. And that's the whole program. So this is depending on which section that you get into. This would be, I'll give you off one set. If you lose it, or if you want to write on them, the set of these I give you, you don't write on. But if you want to write on your group, then you're going to need to download your what? Print off your own copy, and on your own copy, you can write all over them anything you want to. So here we got 7. So we'll have 2 teams. We'll have 3 teams of 2, and then we'll have 1 team of 3. No, I'm sorry. We'll have 2 teams of 2s and 1 team of 3. And so we'll adapt we'll try to adapt over. So this is only the 3rd time we've taught the class. And we're the only college in the state teaching it, by the way, because it's our course. We set it up. No. I wish there was, but unfortunately there's not for this class. Like I said, this is a unique course. We're the one that had the course added to the college directory of courses. So we're actually developing this course. So no, there's no certification for it, but that is a good question. And then web links. Everybody know you can get Microsoft for free, right? Microsoft Office for free. If you have lost any account, withdrawals. I don't know if you stop coming to class, you need to do what? Withdrawal. So we'll go back up to the syllabus. Most of y'all's had our classes before, and our syllabuses are about the same. It seems like so course description. This is what we're going to be doing this semester, mainly. So we're going to wire a PLC. We're going to wire it. We're going to connect it to the. We're going to adopt the programs. We're going to connect it over to the Festo line, and we're going to say a little prayer, and we're going to see if it's going to work. Right. We're going to let you build, huh? Yeah, you'll have a midterm. We have 2 tests in this class. We have a midterm because there's a lot of information that we need to go over. We need to learn a lot about networking. All right. Also, some stuff you've already known about, hopefully about syncing, sourcing, different things, different methods. So there'll be a lot of other information that we give in here besides just wiring PLCs. I wish that was all about it. Before you can do this, you got to know a lot of stuff, right? And then plus also going back and reviewing what we learned last semester too about, you know, the rules for PLC logic and stuff like that. So yes, there's a midterm and there's a final. So we only have 2 tests in this class, midterm and final, and this is the way it's left off, guys. And we don't give makeup, so we'll go ahead and schedule this and make sure that everybody's going to be available if something don't happen, you know, with the coronavirus out there. I don't know what's going on. That's scary. That's scary stuff, ain't it? So, ours is the only one that they haven't found anybody that's got it yet, but the problem is they hadn't been able to test for it. So, and it looks very similar to the what? Flu, yeah. But the flu, I think it's got a 0.1% mortality rate, and I think the coronavirus has got like a 2% mortality rate. So, well, it's like the flu. The only way they know they got it is that it checks. So recorded lectures, I record the lectures. I only upload them. Only have time to upload them once a week, so Friday. So if you miss a class, then you have the ability to go that. And withdrawals, everybody knows that if you stop coming, I do not drop you from the class. I grade you like you're here, right? So if something happens and you need to withdraw, you need to e-withdrawal. And then plagiarism, cheating, all these are covered on all syllabuses, and some of y'all have already had 2 of my classes today, so we're not going to go over these. But this will be in the actual syllabus is up on the Blackboard site, right? Everybody okay? So any questions on the Blackboard site? Laid out okay, I'll be able to manipulate it. You cannot send me text. You cannot send me email. You can't see me email from Blackboard. So this is why keeping the syllabus brief is important, because email is still one of our lines of communication. So what you're going to have to do, if you're going to send me email, and that's our second assignment, right, is you're supposed to send me email. But instead of clicking on email instructor over there on the left-hand side, you're going to have to actually send me email through your college email account. Everybody understand that? Okay. Yes. So it's in the, you need to start it out with ALT 212 without any spaces, and then put whatever you want to after that. Make sure you put space after that in your subject. You need to put that in the subject. So can you see it up there in the assignment itself? Yeah, and why do I want y'all to start it with that? Because I sort my email into folders for each class. And this is what I'm looking for. This is the rule that I set up. And in that way, your emails don't get all jumbled up with all my other emails. I usually get about 20, 30 emails every day. So this has changed. This has changed a little bit, guys. So this is due when? Next Friday. So the first Friday, if you want to do it early, that's fine. But your email is due by next Friday. You're doing all your agreements and doing your syllabus quiz and safety quiz. That's all due by this Friday. You need to submit your syllabus agreement before next class. So everybody okay there? Well, that's fine. So that's changed from this version of Blackboard. I don't know, when I send you an email, I got two options here. And y'all need to help me that. I've got this option right here that says allow replies to this message. You know, I can send you an email. So you notice I've got this little dot right here. I can send you an email. But according to my understanding, you can reply to the message on Blackboard, but you can't send me. And when you reply, it's not going to be, I don't know. I really don't know. So I'll send it out to y'all. So y'all let me know. Somebody will reply. Huh? I know you got your email, but can you reply to it? So I know you get the email, but I don't know if you reply to it. I don't know where it's going to go, but we'll see. Like I said, this is only our first semester of using this Blackboard site, and we've got a lot to learn. And the people who's developing it has got a lot to learn. So.